this is one of those pet peeves of mine. Like, this is gonna be an ongoing problem. And even though it's been constant complaints, still not fixed. We're still getting leaking somewhere up there. They've come to look at it, but that's about it. When there's a problem, you fix it. Because then when it's too late, it just becomes frustrating. Is that better? Okay, so today, as you guys know, we're taking a trip in about the next 15 months. We're going to be going all over the place in the U.S. as far as the 48 states and perhaps Canada. And you'll probably be hearing about this. I'm sorry, I'm going to exhaust it for maybe the next 13 months as we get to that point. As a result of that, when we do extreme trips like this, it brings Jen into the picture. Now, those of you who don't know Jen, we also call her the Whip. You may know her as that name, and the Whip is now getting involved, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, I'm going to do something about my back too. We did Evolution MMA today. Great stuff. I had fun, but like I got this little tweak in my lower back. Maybe we'll do something about that. Okay, so let me just start off by giving a blanket apology for the time being, long term, until things change. Currently, the business next door is working on a big project, and I don't know how long that's going to be, to be honest. It could be ongoing, and mics only do so much, but I'm going to do the best I can to work around it so it's not as distracting for you guys. But as a result of that, just understand, you know, this is a warehouse, and I share this space with a lot of other businesses, so that we're going to get that. So I said it, and now it's out there. And I don't believe I have to say it anymore. You know, you guys have been very understanding on that. Okay, that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the Whip, aka Jen. Now, why do we call her the Whip? Because she's the logistics girl that usually gets things done when we do extreme things like this. Now, I will say what we're tackling in the next 15 months is going to be the biggest thing that she's been involved in with us. Certainly, she's been through things with me that I know and trust her, and the things that she does and the research that she's going to do for us, it's going to go just fine. But in the meantime, we're also going to have kinks. Now, one of the things that we are focusing on, and perhaps the most important thing, is going to be our bikes, which will be our vehicles to get around the U.S. And along with those vehicles, the bikes, we're going to need some sort of trailer setup. Now, I appreciate a lot of you have sent links to trailers that are out there that have really neat setups. We did some research on that, and a lot of those setups, while cool and we liked the design, a lot of them had bad reviews as far as durability. Now, one thing I know about traveling, and certainly in rough terrain, if your equipment is not durable, it's as good as being garbage, and you're better off not to take it than to be stuck out there with something that's constantly breaking down. But as a result, we took some of these neat designs, we threw them Jen's way, and she went to town. She made a diagram, and now, by the way, before I show you this diagram, she's known for making diagrams before we actually do them. If you're familiar with the fit kit, where the locker is at, we have the poured concrete, we have the cabinets and stuff. This was all Jen's idea, so she did things like this. And if you know the fit kit, you also know that we basically did that to the complete design of what she had in mind, and it works just fine. In fact, it works wonderfully. We really love it. So what she did is she took one concept. This was her original one, and she drew out this for the trailer. But she just sent me a video explaining on how she doesn't like this. Now, let me explain the concept of it. If you look down here, that's going to be the trailer. Now, a lot of companies that make this type of trailer, the durability was an issue when it came to the axle and the wheels, which is extremely important when you're going thousands of miles in terrain that kind of unknown. So we're going to have to work around that. But some of the concept of what was offered with these trailers was this top section that raised on top of this support was a tent. So essentially what the option you would have is when you stopped for the night, or you pulled off to the side, or you were at some place where you can basically camp out, the tent would be on top of the trailer. Now, anybody who knows anything about staying outside and camping, it is a huge plus to be above ground and not actually on the ground. In specific during wintertime, because it is much warmer when you can keep your tent actually off the snow, the ice, and things of that nature. You don't want to be too high, but certainly being off the snow is a terrific concept. Now, I don't know what changes Jen plans on making, so I'm going to play the video that she sent on the reason behind this and the changes that are going to take place.
Immediately upon finishing that video with the first prototype, I figured out about 100 things I hated about it. That being said, I want you guys to know that that's just one of many ideas I have. There's a bunch of factors that go into building something like this. Obviously, weight is one of them, type of material, ease of use, storage capacity. They're gonna have to haul a lot of stuff around with them. They won't think it's a lot, but in my brain, how is everything gonna fit in there so that they can easily access it without the rig being annoying in and of itself? Because could you imagine Rich and Jake riding around the country with these trailers that they absolutely hate using? All I would ever hear is complaints. So I don't want to hear that. So there's a bunch of things that I consider when putting something like this together. It's kind of fun for me. It's like a puzzle, and I have a bunch of parameters and I have to work around them and make something amazing. So I just want you guys to know, any suggestions you have for me would be very helpful. Maybe I won't use all of it, but sometimes I take like little parts and little ideas of stuff. I just want you guys to know that that initial idea is not the final idea. It's just one that I'm rebuilding in my mind over and over. I just want to share that with you guys.
So to kind of reiterate what Jen was talking about, basically your comments, your suggestions, anything to be helpful in trying to make this better, to get across country as smoothly as possible, would be helpful. So like I mentioned, I'm dealing with a little bit of annoying, knot pain. Now, I'm lucky I don't get a lot of aches and pains, but when I do, it tends to be right there. One of the tools I usually go for is this device right there. This is about $3. It's a lacrosse ball. I did a video on this probably a couple weeks ago. I'll leave a link below, or I'll try to leave it in the card somewhere where you can click on it and check it out. Essentially, all you want to do is when you have the ball, you want to go to some sort of hard surface. You can also do this on the floor. I personally tend to like something where I'm standing, especially on my back, and just put up against a brick wall or whatever. And then all you do is you get to that point. Now I'm going to lower myself right where it's at, and I'm going to place the ball. This is where I'm having the tension, right there. That's where the trigger point ball, or in this case the lacrosse ball, is going to be. And we're just going to roll that around. Now, just like a foam roller, you basically want to find those spots where, I could feel that knot right away. That's where you want to stay. And then from here, you just want to take a deep breath in, and then just kind of put pressure on it as you need to, or as you can. That's another thing. Another reason I like the brick wall is I can adjust the tension just basically moving my shoulders back, and then lighten the tension just moving up a little bit as I'm trying to find where that knot is moving around at. Yeah, that's actually a little better. Believe it or not, it's something that quick. Right here, lacrosse ball, going to show you that tool again. So you're probably going to get tired of me talking about this trip for the next several months as we get into it, but I really appreciate the comments that have been coming in. You guys have been pouring out a lot of support. A lot of you have been coming from places in your own life where you're like, boy, I wish I could do something like this. Do it now so you don't look back and say you don't have the time. And that's just it. It makes me think about the perspective of time, because we often say, okay, I'll get that done tomorrow. I'll do that workout tomorrow. I'll get started tomorrow. And before we realize it, tomorrow's 10 years later. And we've lost so much time that we feel like we're out of time. And I'm hoping that something along this trip and building up to the point of this trip also motivates you guys to go out and do something out of your realm that you've always wanted to do, but you used time as a reason not to do it. In other words, you don't have enough time. Make the time and do something different in your life that you always wanted to do. I have a philosophy that so long as you have a breath of life, you still have time. I'll see you guys tomorrow.